Let's be honest, you've probably seen it before. A shiny new innovation lab with fancy decor and inspirational quotes on the wall, a company celebrating its fifth internal hackathon this year, or a chief innovation officer who was announced with great fanfare but hasn't been given a team, a budget, or any real authority. It looks like innovation, but it's not. This is what we call innovation theater, a performance of innovation with little substance behind the scenes. Innovation theater refers to situations where companies mimic the appearance of innovation without doing the hard work needed to create meaningful change. It's when there's more effort spent on looking innovative than on actually being innovative. That might be launching an app that no one uses, opening an innovation hub that never integrates with the business, or organizing brainstorming events that never lead to real decisions. These initiatives often generate excitement, buzz, and visibility, but not results. At its core, innovation theater is about activities without impact. It wastes time, money, and employee enthusiasm, and yet it's surprisingly common globally.
One of the biggest drivers is executive FOMO, the fear of missing out. When competitors launch flashy innovation projects or form partnerships with startups, it creates pressure to do something that signals progress. And too often, that something is rushed and disconnected from strategy. Another reason is the absence of a clear innovation roadmap. Many organizations launch programs without defining what problems they're trying to solve or how success will be measured. Innovation becomes a side project, fun and energetic, but ultimately floating in a vacuum. Then there's the issue of misaligned incentives. If innovation managers are praised for launching pilots, hosting workshops, or securing media coverage, rather than for outcomes like adoption, revenue, or customer impact, they will naturally focus on appearances. Finally, we can't ignore the copycat culture. Companies replicate trendy practices from Silicon Valley, New York, or Tel Aviv, like opening an innovation lab or using AI buzzwords, without considering whether these moves make sense for their context. In some cases, innovation is used primarily for PR, to attract talent or investment, rather than to actually improve the business. At first glance, innovation theater might seem harmless, just another corporate ritual. But the dangers are real and significant. First, it wastes resources. Budgets are allocated, teams are assembled, consultants are hired, all without long-term ROI. That's money and time that could have been spent solving actual problems. Second, it demotivates people. When employees see ideas celebrated but never implemented, or when they're asked to participate in innovation projects that go nowhere, they begin to lose trust. Over time, that disillusionment spreads. And the very people who could drive change either burn out or leave. Third, it blinds the organization to risk. While everyone's watching the performance, real competitive threats or internal inefficiencies go unaddressed. The company loses agility, and in fast-moving markets, that can be fatal. And finally, there's reputational damage. Stakeholders, from employees to investors to customers, eventually realize that the innovation story doesn't match reality. And once credibility is lost, it's very hard to earn back. Let's look at a few real examples right from around the world. Nordstrom, the well-known American retailer, launched an innovation lab in 2011 that got a lot of positive press. They tested apps in-store, did lean experiments, and embraced rapid prototyping. But just a few years later, the lab was shut down, quietly. None of its ideas were scaled across the business. It became clear that the lab, while exciting, had no real influence on how Nordstrom operated day to day. PepsiCo's Refresh project is another example. Launched in 2010 with a $20 million budget, the company invited the public to vote on community projects to receive funding. It was a social media success, but it didn't boost sales or brand equity and was scrapped after 2 years. It looked like innovation, but in hindsight, it was more of a marketing stunt than a strategy. Deutsche Bank created global innovation labs to partner with fintech startups and explore new tech. But insiders revealed that the labs were disconnected from the bank's core functions. Without clear goals or follow-through, the labs became isolated bubbles, generating demos and pitch decks, but not real transformation. Around the world, there are countless companies, including large corporates, that host impressive hackathons. But ask what happens to the winning ideas. Often, nothing. No ownership, no implementation team, no budget. It's a cycle of excitement with no conclusion. On the other hand, take Amazon. Their two-pizza team rule, where every innovation team should be small enough to be fed by 2 pizzas, isn't just a fun phrase. It reflects a culture of empowered, autonomous teams that own real outcomes. Innovations like Amazon Prime and AWS came from teams deeply integrated into the business. That's not theater, that's the real deal. So what do we learn from all of this? That innovation, when disconnected from the core business, almost always fails, no matter how glamorous it looks. If there's no strategy, no budget, and no accountability, innovation efforts will fade. These examples show us that it's not enough to experiment. We have to commit. The real lesson is that sustainable innovation isn't flashy, it's functional. It's less about labs and more about embedding new thinking into the core of how a company operates. And when done right, it doesn't just change what we build, it changes how we think. Breaking the cycle of innovation theater begins with one question. Are we innovating to perform or to transform? That honest reflection is the first step. Next, organizations need to clearly define what innovation is supposed to achieve. Whether it's solving customer pain points, improving internal processes, or opening new markets, every innovation initiative should be tied to measurable goals that matter to the business. But that's not enough. Innovation leaders need real authority, access to decision makers, a clear budget, and permission to take risks. Too many innovation teams are set up to fail because they operate at the edges without the tools to actually drive change. Measurement also matters. We need to stop counting how many ideas were submitted and start tracking how many were tested, implemented, and scaled. Impact, not activity, should be the metric. And finally, build a culture where innovation isn't confined to a lab or a title. Some of the best ideas come from the warehouse, the call center, or the field. Empower those voices. Give them space to experiment. That's where transformation begins, not in the boardroom, but on the ground.
Innovation isn't a show. It's not a stage or a campaign or a buzzword. It's a disciplined, creative, and strategic effort to solve real problems in new ways. If we want to move beyond innovation theater, we need to shift our focus from how it looks to what it changes. So ask yourself, is your organization just performing innovation, or is it truly committed to making it real? If this resonates with you anywhere in the world, share your thoughts in the comments. And if you experience innovation theater up close, I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching and stay innovative.